YouTube? It's been a while since I got one of these videos done. I've been super busy. I've got this upcoming TED Talk, which I'm super excited about, and some keynoting and stuff. So I want to do a really quick and dirty video here about the Choose Your Own Adventure that I've been getting a lot of comments and questions about that I've been posting on some of my social media. It's actually a lot easier to do than people realize. We tend, as teachers, we're really good at overcomplicating things, and that's kind of the goal I had with my whole idea about gamification. Is one thing I want to do is not overcomplicate things. I want things to be simple and quick and cut and dry for kids, and let them do what they do best, which is explore and play. So let me kind of give you an overview about how I did my Choose Your Own Adventure, some tips, some tricks, and some of the challenges I had along the way that will help you in your own planning. So let's check it out. Alright, so what you see here is in the front of my classroom I took just one of those standard plastic tables you got on pretty much every school, or pick them up at a hardware store. Pretty much everyone's got one of these things for garage sales or something. And I covered it with some basic cloth that I had, just because on the bare table it looked boring to me, and I'm kind of a stickler for those kind of details. You don't have to be, you can keep it simple. Second thing I did was I had to create my scenario. So every kid is going to be given something from this envelope, and what this is a story or a task that's going to give them their first direction that they have to choose, which is north or south. So when it comes to designing, the first thing you want to do is you actually determine the actual tasks. If you look at the table, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on here, and all of that is added after I figure out what the actual quests are. So these wide envelopes indicate the quest. So they can go north or south. Then that will lead them to another 3.0, which indicates the second one. 1.0 is the initial. 2.0 was the second, just to double back here. 3.0 is the third choice. And then I have south 4.0 up here and north 4.0 up here. Those are going to be the initial quests or work or whatever terminology you use in your own gamified room that the kids are actually going to be doing. From there, you build off of it. So let me go a little bit deeper into that. The next thing you want to do is you want to keep organized. So you're going to notice that I have kind of like 2.0 or 2.25 and things like that. This is a system that I created just because numbers are easy to follow for kids as well as for myself from an organizational standpoint, is that it helped me organize where I needed things to go. I originally didn't have these numbers, so when I set it up the first time I had to reread everything, and I had to remember which ones went in logical order where, and that became a huge problem that I had. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just using this 3-point whatever, 2-point whatever numbering system. So every quest, every actual work is beginning with a number. So in the previous one I said this was the second one. This is actually the first, because this is just your first choice activity to go north or south, or whatever direction or whatever your storyline would be. Second one here I have 2.0. This is the first actual work or quest task that they have to accomplish. Then the 3.0 is the next one, and then as I mentioned before, the 4.0. Everything that's a 3.75, 0.5, anything that's not 0.0 indicates optional choices that kids have. And they can be any type of activity you want. So I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit of a path here to show you. Alright, before I start going through the paths, I want to explain the work that actually goes into these envelopes before I get to the optional stuff. The first one that you want to do can be anything, but I'd recommend something short and quick. So these are things I do vocab or battle sheets or things like that. And the further you go along the adventure, the more complex or deep the work gets. My second one is actually some teaching things where they have to design lessons to teach people about certain topics that they get. And the fourth one is construction based, or I guess 4.0 in this case, the third activity is construction based. You can have as many as you want, but in reality, you want to keep them so that they're quick and concise and that they can be done in a couple of periods. Because if you stretch this out for weeks and weeks on end, the kids are going to lose interest, the table will inevitably get bumped, things will fall over, markers will get moved, it'll kind of be chaotic. So I try to run this for no more than 2 to 3 weeks. And I timed the Choose Your Own Adventure to be with one of my shorter units, which for us in Alberta for grade 8 science is our third unit of light and optics. So a new thing that I tried this year too, to kind of keep the movement flow going in the board, is I had the kids create these little movement or marker tokens. They're about toonie sized. If you're from the United States or not from Canada, toonie, yay big, like a dollar coin, $2. Us in Canadian, we're weird, $2 coin. And that coin marker that they create indicates where each guild is in this board. So right now it's all jammed because we just started, so they're all either going north or south, so they're all stuck there right now. But as they start to fan out, you're going to see what encourages people. Do they want to get to the end first? Do they want to try to get everywhere before other people? To the optional ones, I take them really deviating, in this case, east or west. So the markers are actually really cool because it shows everybody where people are in progress, and it also helps me say, hey, everyone's in 3.0 or above, and you're still in 2.0. So what's the hiccup? What's the catch? That's slowing you guys down. So that's actually been really helpful, and again, something that new that we started this year that tends to work. The other thing that I found has been actually quite successful is these markers. It was a race to an optional thing. So if you saw this little box on the ground and you wanted to go get to it first, you'd finish the task and race your token all the way up there in the adventure. But what I wanted to do was, if you were the first class of the day, you had a distinct advantage over someone at the end of the day by getting to the class first. You had the first crack at getting the thing. So I had to address this right away. So what I said was, for every 24-hour period, or I guess every school day, everyone has a chance to get somewhere. So we currently are working at exactly the same pace each class, which is pretty cool. At the beginning of the next school day, if I have 2 markers on an optional token or an optional direction, they might have to battle, they might have to do a trivia contest to see who gets there first. They might each get the scenario, and then one might choose to ignore it anyway and then progress forward. So this allows me to have a little bit of more competition between kids and a little bit of, again, that strategy, that forward thinking and planning, and that's actually been pretty popular idea with the kids, and they're excited to get to this merchant they believe and buy his things first. And if 2 people get there at the same time, then I'm going to have a little trivia battle to see who gets to the first shot at the items he has for sale and things like that. So I want to talk to you about the ebbs and flows of this. All right, so let's go check that out. Okay, so now that you've got your assignments set up, and again, they're written like stories. So this one describes you come to a fork in the road and you got a north and a south. So the kids, let's say hypothetically you went north. When you get here, you're going to have the task that you complete for north. And this, as I mentioned before, is a vocab task. Once this is finished, you're going to notice that this envelope leads this way, directly to North 3.0, or we have an optional task of going over here to the envelope labeled 2.25. If a student decides to go up this way, they will get to read what's inside that envelope. As they go inside that envelope, they're going to get a choice to realize that it might lead them over here. They might like that choice and continue. They might not like that choice, so they go back to where they were and then they continue on the only other path that's here. I keep my movement simple in the beginning. You're going to notice it starts to get chaotic over here. So what happens is, if you, for example, you might go north, you might go here. Now you have 2 optional choices. This optional choice is going to go this way. This optional choice is going to go this way. Like none of them, too bad, because there's no other thing. So now north forces you this way. As to where south gives you the ability to skip optional tasks and go directly to south 4.0. So being able to see everything laid out across the board is beneficial for kids in planning and the strategy. So what kind of optional things go inside these envelopes? Anything you like. This one, for example, is going to talk about you come across a pile of rocks and you see a guard sleeping beside these rocks. You notice they got some blood on the rocks. Do you want to search them? Yes or no? Should you search them? You may wake up that guy and you may end up getting into a battle. Here it says you hear whispering, and for those whispers you follow, you find out that the whispers are a merchant. The merchant in question, this little guy right here, invites you over to check out his wares. Do you check out his wares or not? Could it be a trick or not? So all of these different options are huge in getting the kids thinking and pre-planning, which is very popular with them. Each one of these choices is going to lead to some reward, some punishment, some game currency, some items, and all kinds of things like that. And it's all culminating, when you're looking at it from this perspective here, to getting to this incredibly cool castle and things that I had donated to me from actually a tabletop gamer who builds these things. And he gave me this thing here, and it actually has a removable lid. I won't peek inside because I know kids watch this video, but inside here is actually some things that if the kids decide to go inside this house, there might be something good or bad inside. So the whole idea behind this choose your own adventure is you start by designing your base quests. So those are my wide envelopes, and you connect them with the arrows. So the basic path that would get them through all of the work culminating to the end. Then stand back from the table, give it a good look, take any sort of markers, items, whatever, papers, different color materials, woods, and start creating your different scenarios. Once your different scenarios are created, start connecting them with arrows. Give kids certain choices where they have no choice but to do an optional task, or they have choices. Have it so that they can double back and try things again. Have it so they can go, if they started north, they might be able to crisscross and head south. Give them choices, choices, choices. It is called Choose Your Own Adventure. And remember, it's all about choosing your path carefully. In order to help you out, I will post a tiny little blog on my website in the next 48 hours that will have a download link to my complete quest set that is here. Some of the stuff you'll be able to do, some of you might not, based on the extra little decor and things that I have, but it'll give you an idea. Everything is based around story, which is kind of the fun part of gamification. Kids will really gravitate and connect to a story. Couple tips that I've learned throughout the years. Have all of the documents you give to kids separate behind your desk, just organized in a little duotang or folder. If you let the kids reach and grab into the envelopes, they will destroy your table. Take it from me, this is my 3rd year doing Choose Your Own Adventure. It took me 2 years to learn that the hard way. Second, you are the one who opens the envelope and gives them the paper. You give, once they've read it and made their choice, they give the paper back to you, and then you put it back in the table. The less kids are grabbing at things there, just the better. Third, I have done it to where I put a little safety barrier of just cones. You can't go past these cones, because when you have tablecloths like I do, kids will rub against the tablecloth and start pulling things. Another organizational tip is take a nice picture of it with your phone or a camera so that you know what it looks like. When it is not set up, or if it gets bumped, or if someone accuses someone of moving something, you can go back to your photo and say, nope, everything is in the correct order. Or, oh, you are right, something here has been moved. Other things you can do is to encourage movement and some risk taking, is you can say, oh my God, guys, we just discovered a brand new path, and add a path that's only active for maybe 24 hours or 48 hours, and encourage kids to get there first. You can have unique items that are only available to be won in this 2 to 3 week span of your Choose Your Own Adventure. When it comes to it, and what I say all the time about gamification, is ask the kids, what did you like about it, what did you not like? So this is the 3rd incarnation of using a Choose Your Own Adventure. It's the biggest and I think the best so far, because I've asked my kids every year what they liked and didn't like. Organization was an issue, not enough choices was an issue, not enough risk or reward. So I've got choices and stuff all over the place. But keep in mind, the Choose Your Own Adventure is as easy as you can be. Start with your base path, your base direction, and your base challenges. Once that's done, you can extend it as far and as wide as you want as you go through forward with the extra paths and additional challenges and everything else that you're willing to explore. Kids love it, they have tons of fun. Use dice and use randomness too. Sometimes you get to a fork in the road where if you roll 1, 2, 3, you're going up, 3, 4, or 4, 5, 6, you're going another way. So you might even force chance or force choice as well. All in all, kids tend to love this. It is quick, it is easy to set up. It takes maybe an evening of real concrete thinking for the base work, and then you can go from there. Well, I hope you found that helpful. It's a quick and dirty video, not my typical detailed edited stuff. I'm trying to do this quick and easy. Any questions, as usual, comment below and I will help you out. Until next time. Oh, I almost forgot something. Use different size envelopes for different size tasks. My work are always wide, my optional are always small, my instant choice are always tiny pieces of cue card that I've cut. The different envelopes help kids stay organized, and it helps you stay organized, because sometimes if you're like me, you can get pretty disorganized pretty quickly. Almost forgot. Oh, and you can use color too. I have grade 7s that are about to embark on this because I do 7 and 8 gamification, and their envelopes are going to be highlighted the fronts pink for their missions. Everyone is going to have access to the optional stuff, but the pink work will be specifically the grade 7 missions. Another design tip, another organization tip. Until next time.